Please fuck this Luigi.
Please fuck Luigi.
Should I test my mic?
I tested these, I think.
On?
Yeah. Randy
Hello?
recommended kind of like get it down and like scoop it up because you don't want to like in your face.
Like this?
Yeah, like that.
Hi.
Hello?
When do we go live?
Are we live
How
already?
do you know if it's working?
I don't think we're live because it doesn't say that we're live.
It doesn't say. My dashboard doesn't say.
Oh no,
we're
we
live.
are live.
Are
We
you
just
serious?
no. We're not live.
Wow.
So it starts with me saying, "Oh no, yeah, we're live."
Oh, now it's live.
Now it's live.
Wow. Okay.
Hi, America.
Hello.
Hi, America. This is Relentless Weebs, and we are up top. Hi, America. This is Relentless Weebs, and I'm here with Anisong DJ Week with all Hell Breaks Loops and Rainy Star. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm Rainy Star. I've DJed a few conventions before, like Fanime and Sec Anime. Yeah, I've been DJing for a couple years now. Yeah, here, your turn. I don't know what to say.
I'm Tyler. I produce, DJ, and now VJ, which is performing visuals as All Hell Breaks Loops. And related to Anisong, I have also performed a few years just at Southern California anime conventions, playing a combination of Anisong and also Vocaloid and what's called Doujin music at events including Anime Impulse, which is, by the way, hosting the INSANIME Halloween event on October 26th. And I'm DJing at that. So, come and check out some of the stuff that we're talking about actually in real life in Los Angeles at the Belasco. Also Anime Expo, Anime Los Angeles, and Anime California. So I also produce Vocaloid music in the genre of future bass and hybrid hardcore and bass house. And I've also done visuals at many of the same events for artists who overlap with Anisong, including Tofuku, Android 52, and Highland. And I'll also be doing Anisong style visuals at Anisong Heart 5, which is an ongoing series in Los Angeles, put on by my good friend Syntho to showcase Anisong, Vocaloid, and idol music throughout the year and not just clustered around convention season. Yeah, I took notes on that, so I was kind of cheating.
Good.
You outed me.
Well, I didn't want you to follow me. That would have been rude.
But you guys have both been DJing for a while, for different amounts of time in different areas, basically, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, for those who don't know, can either of you give in your own words what an Anisong DJ is?
I think to me it's like it's capturing the energy that you have, like it's, how like anime kind of plays up the drama and everything, and I feel like Anisong captures that like emotion, right? That like over the top of like, I know it's just like a volleyball team, but like, oh, my heart's like beating out of my chest, or like whatever slice of life thing it is that you care way too much about. I feel like that's encapsulated in the emotion that like people get from listening to an Anisong for like your favorite series. Or it has that nostalgic sort of thing where like it's something old school that like, something super, super played out, like Cruel Angel's Thesis or something like that. Like that like feels a certain way because of all the emotions wrapped up in that anime and all that sort of thing. So I think an Anisong DJ kind of curates that energy in the same way that like a techno DJ, right? It curates a sort of like emotion around like techno music. And so Anisong does the same for Anisong. That's my take.
I guess Anisong DJing for me, it's got like that big nostalgic feeling, like when you hear like a opening from an anime you watched like years ago, you just remember like all the emotions you felt when you watched the show. And I think that's like Anisong. It brings back all that nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tyler's description was good too. But
My description of an Anisong DJ is a DJ that plays anime songs.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
But you guys give really good
that
answers.
feels like one of those like trick, sort of like first day like Anisong 101 class, right? Like they just approved this, like the Regents just like put their backing behind this, and then like you go up there and like define Anisong, and like I go up there with my like graduate thesis, and you're just like, well, actually, and you have like 7 words that you can wrap
Trick
it up
question. You all failed my pop quiz on Anisong. Just kidding. Those are really
Okay.
good answers.
Professor McWeeb. Okay.
Professor McWeeb. That's going to be my new Twitter handle for a while.
Nice.
Well, there's no conventions going on. It's just going to be Professor McWeeb until it's
Professor
it's-
McWeeb.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a point in time where I actually rented out my apartment as an Airbnb, and when I came back, the Airbnb people were like, "We wanted to give you this," and it was a DJ board. And they gave me like a mid-level. It was like not even it wasn't a cheap one either. It was like just a DJ board. They're like, "We saw your bookshelf and we think that you would really like this." And I was like, "There's nothing on my bookshelf that signifies this." But I was like really, really, really grateful and everything like that. But when I started posting about it, people were joking about like what my DJ name would be, and not one person did MC Weeb, and that was a missed opportunity for me.
Okay, because an MC technically is not a DJ. I would say
know.
they're like you get like some play with that whenever you do puns, but yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were creating some sort of like hype group, right? If there was like Anime Impulse personified as like DJ Anime Impulse, then DJ Anime Impulse could have an MC, and that would be MC Weeb.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for breaking that
Clarifying
down.
DJ culture right here.
That feels better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I had one name, I think that's what I would pick, regardless of like definitions and everything.
Fair. Well, you would have a crew, so you'd be the part of like the DJ crew, and your role in that would be MC Weep.
Okay, that's all right. That's my future goals. Before convention season comes up, I'm definitely gonna try and be MC Weeb. Speaking of Anime Impulse and having a crew, I'd like to plug INSANIME, which will be October 26th at the Bellagio. Belasco? Oh yeah, that's in Vegas. I'm sorry.
Don't
go there.
A lot of bees.
Please don't go there. And so you will be at INSANIME.
Correct. I'll be DJing there. Yes.
And how many INSANIMEs have you DJ'd?
Or
Anime Impulse events in general?
Anime Impulse events. So there's this one coming up in October on the 26th. And then before that, there was the one in July. And I think that one was actually called INSANIME. And then before that was actual Anime Impulse proper. So that would be 1, 2, 3 so far. Counting this one.
3?
Yeah.
Nice.
Keep it rolling.
Do you have a favorite INSANIME memory or anything cool that happened the last one?
Okay. So this one's really good. So I guess like this is going to be interesting because it's going to be people are mostly viewing the stream, but then also some people are going to be consuming this as like a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to tell a story and I'm figuring out like which format. Like, so of course some will be left out of the podcast, but that'll be part of the fun.
Yeah.
So I'm there and I start my song up and like I'm trying to like get the energy going. And this is the July event, right? And so the way that the stage is set up at the Belasco is that it's a raised stage, and so there's this like cavern, right? Like beneath. So my feet are right at the edge of it, right? And then I'm like just jumping around thinking I'm invincible until my feet land right on the like the lip of this like stage kind of like proxy riser, and then I just boom and I just eat it. And what's weird is that I slid, I like hit my ass, and then my legs just went flat. So like it looked like I just disappeared for a minute, but no one was actually looking directly at the DJ in that moment. So because of that, I don't think anyone saw what happened. They just saw that I just ate shit like that. They just thought that like the DJ just like ducked down, took some water, and elegantly went back up.
I was there and I think I noticed you were like completely gone for a second, but I didn't know that's why.
So this is great because I didn't really I just tried to cover my own ass, and then I didn't mention anything of it at all that night, or any, because I figured if someone else saw something, they'd be like, "Yo, that was a good recovery," and then we could kind of laugh at it. But it's funnier now knowing that you saw me go high energy, disappear for like 45 seconds, and then pop back up in the DJ. So that's cool. So then, yeah, that makes the memory even richer because now I know Jet actually saw that, and now you know all the behind the scenes. So
wow, nice.
Yeah, that was the time that I ate shit at the July INSANIME on like my like first or second track or something like that. Yeah, but the music didn't stop, right? That's the best part about DJing. You can fall and you can trip, and no one will know. The music just keeps playing. Just get the transitions right.
Unless you tell the story on
Oh no! Why did I
very
choose to tell
public
this
live
story on this
stream.
podcast? Yeah.
Now everybody knows.
Oh.
Bet you didn't think of that.
Gonna go back in my cave and watch more anime and never come out again.
Speaking of going into a cave and watching anime, have you guys been watching any anime lately, or do you have anything you'd like to talk about in like recent anime news that's airing, or just old stuff you'd like to rewatch?
Promare? Big Promare hype right now.
Big Promare hype right now. I think it's worth mentioning that in a group chat with all three of us, both Rainey and I have matching Leo avatars.
Yeah.
So we have the same avatar on our line ID.
You guys pretend to be the same like cutesy anime character on the internet? Wow, that's like
which is definitely worth mentioning.
So then do you believe, is that like the Spider-Man thing when like both avatars see each other just like wait who's
this is
the
a real Leo between us.
Ooh.
So speaking of
Battle to the death.
battle to the death. That's why I called you on here to like beat you up and take your phone so I can change your line ID. But other than that, so what did you like about Promare?
It was a lot. Well, it was like all the action, you know, like the fluid trigger animation, and just like never stops. Like there's like no pause in like anything that's happening. It just keeps going. And then like I really like the story. I don't know. I think it's like sad but also cute and like nice. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite Studio Trigger anime? Because Promare is very reminiscent of all of the Studio Trigger animes, except like a little bit. The least I would say would be Space Patrol Luluco. And then do you have like a favorite Studio Trigger anime? Personally, you go first. Yeah. Do you have a favorite Studio Trigger anime?
Okay, so I'm like the show's like I should come in as an expert, right? Because I'm like DJing Anisong. I'm like really bad with like linking up studios with animes.
I'll list them.
So okay.
Kill la Kill.
Okay, I was gonna say Kill la Kill. Okay, Kill la Kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh, no.
Give me some Kill la Kill. That's all I need to hear.
Well, I think there was like this period, unfortunately, like a couple years back when like it was just like a different mindset for things, and so like I consumed a lot of what people thought 3 or 4 years ago like critically was very good. So Kill la Kill, it was a lot of those like buzz lists like back then, and definitely very satisfying and super well done. The music's great too, you know, of course. But those are the sort of things that like I was really paying attention to now. And then now things like Promare, like everyone's buzzing about it, but I'm just like, I'm trying to find time to watch it. But it's like a weird chase. But yeah, I really did enjoy Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill got me back into anime again, so
Really?
I can definitely
That's cool.
I had stopped for a while.
What about it like kind of reconnected with you?
My friends were watching it, so I gave it a try.
Yeah. If I get like, there's a threshold. It's like, 2, okay. But if 3 or 4 friends are watching it and they're in a group chat and you don't know what they're talking about, then you're in.
Yeah, and I had just moved to Los Angeles, so it was super like lonely because like it's hard to make friends here when you
That's
first
what
move
everybody
here.
says. I mean, it's one of the, like, I'm spoiled because, well, I grew up in Orange County, but like it's never been like, oh wait, I'm new here, what do I do? Like I've never had that moment that I think a lot of transplants have all had.
Yeah, it probably took me like a year to make any friends too.
Oh wow.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you you just keep going to shows and anime conventions and things and like nodding to people and waiting for them to nod back?
Yeah, for a while.
That's tough.
You just like make friends and then like
you gotta wear like weeb stuff.
You have to wear anime clothes
so people approach you.
No, like you're totally spot on. Like I didn't make any friends until I started wearing like the Sailor Moon shirts and everything. Like that was your way in. Like I would just like head up to Hot Topic. I'm like, I need friends.
See, it's funny because then like I was, I guess, dressing very boring. So when I started DJing, that's when I was like, wait, I should probably dress weebier so people know like I'm the, like it was like in that way kind of, it's this weird normalization, right? Between like who am I supposed to be and like who you are and like, oh, this is who I can be in this space. So it's fun to fill that out.
That makes sense. But what's your favorite Studio Trigger anime?
I I also really like Kill la Kill, but I also haven't finished it because I have this really bad habit of starting anime and then halfway through I'll just like, I don't know, I'll get like busy with something in my life and then I'll forget to keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also why is my mind blanking?
Oh,
the
no.
like really popular one with the
Gurren
drill.
Lagann?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the title for some reason. But yeah, that one too. I also like almost finished that one and didn't quite because the same thing.
Yeah, no, it took.
But I did
that's
finish
relatable.
Space Patrol Luluco, but it was a short one.
Oh, okay.
So
Space Patrol Luluco
that one
is my
was so
favorite.
good. It's so cute. Yeah. Like I guess if I had to choose like a favorite, like that's probably it since I actually finished that one.
But Gurren Lagann would be your overall favorite. That makes sense. Though they're all, there's not a bad Studio Trigger anime to pick. I mean, good job, guys.
Well, people say Darling in the Franxx is bad, but but it's controversial, I guess.
Controversial.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I started watching that one too, and I think it's okay. I haven't finished it yet though, but it's like low on the. Oh, also Kisniver.
I started that one and did not finish. Yeah.
My roommate's been watching it, and I was like, oh shit, I should like watch that again. It's a good one too.
Yeah. I think it's universally agreed that if you're super deep into anime, you just genuinely enjoy Studio Trigger. Like, there's a certain level. There's like normal stuff. There's like studio.
There's like depth there.
Yeah.
I think that like the other thing that there's a formula, right, for like rich, like engaging, like changing up, genre switching, sort of anime, and then there's the kind of seasonal things that like it's good for escape, or it's good if you love cooking shows and you just want to binge through something. It's great for that. But then there are some that you're like, oh, when you really think about it, they kind of paint by the numbers, but sometimes that's perfect for what you need in that moment. But I feel like so much of Studio Trigger is like rich, well developed, like stand on their own, great world building. Of course there's common themes, right? But that's okay. Like everybody's going to have common themes.
No, good insight. Golf clap.
That was well coordinated.
So, speaking of transition, anime conventions, you guys primarily perform. Well, you perform outside anime conventions too. That's like a big part of it. But you do perform at anime conventions and anime events. What are some of the anime conventions that you guys have like performed at? Like, I know you mentioned like most of them, but like how far have you guys gone? Like over the country, like over everywhere? Because I know that Rainy's been to like East Coast and like down that area and everything. And then you're going.
For the first time this year, I went to Chicago. So I went to ASEN for the first time.
Yeah.
Which was, I think like, we were talking about like the LA thing. So like my West Coast bias is that everything is better like on the West Coast, right? Like, of course, LA's got the best everything, but their dance wins. Like their dance has more people.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's a bigger space.
The dance is really good.
Yeah, for that one, but then the Anime Expo ones have been bigger where they've used the bigger spaces. When they just do the ones like at the actual in like the ballroomy spaces on the actual convention center grounds, those are a certain size and those are smaller than ASEN. But when they do the big events like they did, what was the one with was it 2 or 3 years ago? It was the one where like Slushy was kind of awkwardly headlining, and it was like was Bandvox on that?
Oh,
and then,
Neon District.
Yeah, the Neon District.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big show, right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
am I not
one.
allowed to make Slushy hot takes? He would melt, okay. Right? Because he's Slushy. Yeah. So that was big. That was big scale, right? And that was special, and that was but that was different from the traditional Anime Expo or the. They call them like convention raves, sometimes. And it's just like it's up to the promoters on like what they want to call it. But it's the same spirit, right? And I think you're seeing more and more of those sort of things go away from, oh, here's like anime fans who like house and like techno and like trance or whatever and are just playing that, to now like you're seeing the music actually shape the or you're seeing like the anime music and anime sounds and things like that shape the music, which I think is a lot more interesting, and it makes it a lot more unique because like any night of the week you could go out and go to the club and and throw it up with the uns and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be like top 40 leaning music, or it's gonna be trap, or it's gonna be whatever's like really cool right now. But Anisong is special, and I think it should have its own sort of lane for that. So it's really great to see more and more conventions kind of champion that, and also see more people kind of pop up with different events. And I think, Jet has seen that, traveling so much, and I saw a little bit in Chicago. So I don't know, maybe you could talk about just like connections or friends that you've made, all around, or like the things that you see your friends doing, or like crews doing, or things like that to kind of keep that going. Or what does the anime convention dance experience mean to you, as a participant, as a DJ?
Plus, you've been a DJ and a participant for a lot of them, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where to start?
The beginning.
The beginning.
What was your first rave? Where was that?
Like the first one I've ever been to?
The first anime rave you've ever been to?
I think back when I still lived in Virginia, I think when I went to Anime USA, I worked like the maid cafe there, and I wasn't a DJ yet, but I checked out like their rave there. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the first time I've ever like ventured into a convention rave. But like, I mean, Anime USA wouldn't be one of the ones I'd recommend. Like, like you've got like anime con raves, but a lot of times they don't book like Anisong DJs. And that's like one of the big, I guess like that's one of the big like arguments people make. Like I wish like anime cons would book just like Anisong and like Japanese Anisong, like related acts.
Yeah.
But they don't a lot of times.
Yeah, I totally, that's something I respect all DJs, but I do like, I usually favor raves that are like heavy on the Anisong or heavy on the like international music. At an anime convention. I'm not like,
if you want to listen to that stuff, you can just go like anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not like
there's the club on a Thursday, right?
I'm not at the Novo on like a Thursday being like, where's my panty and stocking? Like,
good luck.
That would be like a weird thing
but
for me
the one
to
week
do.
in a year, you get to demand that. You want to demand that, right?
Yeah. Or if you're like us, like the couple weeks in a year, if you're mobile.
Oh, if you're mobile, yeah.
If you have a car, it's a couple weeks a year that you get to demand Tenjin Topic and Log and opening, but like remixed and the club. Yeah. But yeah, no, I totally agree with that. My first anime con rave was Anime Boston, and it was like a total
back when they still had raves, because now they're banned.
They're banned?
Yeah. In
they're
Boston,
banned from having raves at their con now.
They're banned from having raves at Anime Boston.
What year?
Something happened. Like, what happened?
Luigi.
I think like someone like drug overdose or some shit like that.
Allegedly.
And now they don't have like a rave at Anime Boston anymore.
Oh man.
So you must have went like a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I was like 2000 press F for Anime Boston rave. It was like 2011, yeah.
Spam it.
Oh no. Well, I guess that's out. I guess I can't recommend Anime Boston rave now because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, a good con rave would be like ASIN or I guess Anime Expo is a lot better than it used to be. Like, it used to be bad, and now it's good.
And there's multiple days of it, right?
Yeah, and now there's multiple days.
That's the upside of it. Or
they really changed it.
Someone described Anime Expo as, like, South by for weebs, which I was like, oh, like, kind of, because it does draw, like, like, people from out of town, and for kind of experiencing that, like net label-y sort of, side of things, I think, yeah, it exists in a very, very, very micro niche, which is kind of, I think it's the thing that I've considered is that, like, how important music is for a certain person. Like, the band that I loved when I was 15 could have been played on, like, huge radio stations and had arena tours, and they meant a lot to me. But if you scale that down for a 15-year-old or somebody today to just love, a mix that Jet did or something like that, they can have that strong of a connection. And so I think it's important to give them that sort of avenue to be like, wait, they can experience, your DJ set with lights and sounds and, and at way too late in the at night and something like that. I think that's like a good, healthy sort of experience. And like you said, like, it's that first formative rave experience for somebody else to kind of be like, oh, wow, this is this thing, this is this culture, and this is how I can connect with it. So.
Okay, I'm going to take a second to read the comments because people like you guys, and I want you guys to understand that. Everyone's saying, oh, hi, yay, and everything else. And then, Karen, it doesn't say who's on there. It says who's
Respect
watching
the
right
drip,
now.
Karen.
Like, hi, Karen.
Come on, Karen. Speak up. Richard Dennison says, hi, Tyler. I miss you so damn much.
Oh,
Hug me,
wow.
please.
Aw.
Wait, what was the last thing?
Hug me, please.
Oh, hug. Okay, yeah, yeah. I'll save a hug for you.
Good. Just send it over the airwaves. Okay, so do you guys like have a favorite area that you guys have DJ'd, a favorite convention, favorite space? Or because even now, like the Anisong DJ thing is like kind of like stepping outside the lines a little bit, because now we have like Anisong Heart and we have Oda Quest and all these like things that are standalones that you can do stuff at or admire Anisong at or everything like that, or international music. So do you guys have like a favorite like event that you guys have been like DJ'd at?
Like a side event that's not like a con rave.
No, it can be a con.
Oh, okay.
I think like, well, you guys think I'm going to talk. That's why I'm here. But I think like it's cool seeing all the different types of raves all over the country, because I've been to like KatsuCon, which everyone went crazy at, but then like at Anime Expo, people are kind of more like in San
More
Jose,
LA. They're just like
people
stand there
are
and
more
nod.
like whatever.
Yeah.
But like my friends at KatsuCon were just covered in, which is why I put the glitter on today.
Oh, okay.
We're just
Evoking.
covered.
Okay.
This is my like, I miss you guys. They had this bag of glitter they bought in the dealer's hall, and they were just like, yeah, like war
Glitter
paint.
everywhere.
Yeah, they glittered everybody up before
Wow.
we went to the rave.
Wow.
So this is like for the East Coast people, my bitches with the glitter.
Yo.
Solidarity.
So if I had to list favorite memory, it would probably be this year's Anime Expo on the Friday night, which was day 2. I forgot how days are known this year. Anyways, it was the
But Anime
Friday.
Expo
Yeah,
is just
it's
like
confusing.
it's like a month. Like it
It's
just
a
feels
month.
like
It feels.
you've
It does
been
feel
there
like a
for
month.
a
Totally
month.
feels like a month. So I knew I was gonna DJ, right? So I like prepared the set in advance, and that was all ready. And then like 2 or 3 days before, they asked me, "Oh, hey, can you do visuals for everyone?" And I was like, "Sure. I just need to figure out how I'm going to do visuals for myself, because I need to go DJ during that. But the rest, I'll figure it out." So while everyone was like enjoying the con and everything like that, on that Friday, I just sat there in downtown LA on some like picnic table
This
outside one of
whole
those
day.
like fancy hotels, just like on my laptop, just like getting all these like video assets ready. So it worked, and it like definitely popped. But like it was just like grind. Like, how many hours do I have? Oh, get all my stuff, pack up, go. And then do this super long 5-hour visuals and 1 hour DJ set and pop everything out. But the reason it's kind of my favorite memory is because I had to do all that and like push myself so much in that one day. Because of that, I've had so many I've taken like the visuals project and kind of warped it into other things, and it's given me like a lot of like groundwork for a lot of the other kind of creative developments that I've done. So like that definitely feels like this, like, wait, a lot of things grew out of that night.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really kind of fun to have that be kind of the germ, for so many things in the future.
I heard you created a duck meme.
Oh wow!
A duck meme.
Duck meme.
I had a project file for my friend Tofuku, and there's this like really nice graphic like cartoon sort of shape that was done, and then I had it so that it could like it was like a little like bit of like a moe, just like sort of like pop out thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I could just have the like the icon just like pop out and then go back, and it's just kind of this like whimsical sort of thing. And so then when I was changing up the project for all the other acts on the other night, I was like, oh well, I can't use the tofuku like the little chibi version. That doesn't make sense. So then I just went to Google and I Googled like high resolution image, and the first thing that came up was this like mallard, right, with this very nice transparent background, very like green emerald color. It's just a duck, right? So a duck with a transparent background. So I used that instead. So then I had controls of it, right? So like every once in a while, like maybe like once every 2 songs, I would make the duck pop up so that people, like, my intent was if someone was in the crowd, for them to like nudge their friend, like, did you just see that duck? And then their friend to look up and be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then another 2 songs to go by, and hopefully that same friend would get caught with the duck, and then they would always kind of that was, and then towards the end of the night, we were just also like having so much fun and so tired that like people would walk over and I would ask them, would you like to be introduced to the society? And they'd be like, no, I do not want to be introduced. And they're like, are you sure? And then I would say, all it requires is one finger, brother. And then I'd put their finger on the knob, and then I'd say, go. And then naturally they'd be like, what does this do? And then they would look up and they realize that they're controlling this like duck popping up and down. And then they were a member of the society. So yeah, that's the duck.
The Duck Society.
And I feel like if I do visuals again at Anime Expo, there will be an expectation for more duck themed assets. But I can keep up, so that's the good news. So that is the duck story. What the duck?
What the duck?
Nice.
That sounds like fuck.
Yeah, I think that was the joke.
Do you have a favorite memory yourself of performing?
I think I have a couple favorites. So I've DJ'd the Sec Anime, I think it was Sec Anime Winter. Well, I DJ'd Sec Anime Winter and Sec Anime Summer last year. And they had like a Boku no Hero themed like rave.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun with that because like it was cool like being like DJ Jiro with like all the other characters like around me dancing. Like it was really fun, and the crowd was like really into the music I played. Like I got a lot of like compliments after. They were like, oh, you did a really good set, and I was like, wow, thank you. I'm like really glad that a lot of people appreciated the music I played. And it's always fun like cosplaying and DJing, especially when the character fits with the like theme, because Jiro's like musician type.
Yeah, her parents are musicians.
And she's got like the earphone jacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another good memory was ALA, Anime Los Angeles, 2017? Wait, not this past year. I think it was the year before.
I think it was 2017. Because I know that you left for a while. Well, maybe it was 2018.
I think
It
I
might have
DJ'd
been
in
20.
2017.
I think it was 2018 because it wasn't this past one. It was like the last one. So
Okay, 2018.
I liked that one a lot because my friends were doing like running it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I got to DJ alongside like a bunch of my friends. And I personally don't think my set that night was that great because that was back before I DJ'd like a lot of things yet, so I was still kind of getting the hang of it. Yeah, it like I've come a long way within just like the last year with like my skills and stuff, but yeah, I just really liked that one because I was like DJing alongside a bunch of people I knew, and it was really fun. Like it sucks because ALA never has a good crowd. Like there's like not many people at all, but I still had a good time there, and like some of my friends came and like danced and stuff, and it was cool.
Yeah, I feel like there definitely needs to be, I hope for the future of like raves at anime conventions in Los Angeles or just like California in general, that there's more advertisement or more hype and everything like that, because I feel like in different states, like there's one rave a year and you get your glitter, you get your Bakugo gender bent hot pants, and you go on the dance floor with the girlfriend you just broke up with 20 minutes ago, because that's how this works. That's every rave
Very
I've
specific
been to.
memory.
God.
Here.
This is like every rave. It doesn't matter what year it is. Sometimes it's Bakugo, sometimes it's Yuri on Ice, sometimes it's yeah, it's like there's a very specific group of people. I know when I went to SakuraCon, that was on 420.
Oh
And
yeah.
that the smell of that.
Oh god.
It was a really cool rave because they did invest a lot of time, and like everyone went there. It was really fun. Everyone was waiting for it, and there was like theatrics, a light show, but it like was very, very much an anime convention rave set on the date April 20th. It was
Very dank.
Very dank. It was extremely dank.
I really wanted to go to SakuraCon. I've always wanted to go to SakuraCon, but I've never like. It'll conflict with something else, or it will just like I won't have the funds at the time.
Yeah.
So I just can't go. But I really want to go like to this coming one. next year
to
I
see the
guess.
glory.
Yeah, it's October next.
So yeah, it's like
spring.
hard. The next spring, so next April is next SakuraCon. Mark your calendars, guys.
In Seattle.
Yeah, in Seattle. Go to Seattle. Don't wait around for it here. But I think one thing that is worth mentioning is like that's another thing about anime raves is like there's so many here. There's kind of a congestion, if that makes sense. So people kind of like they're not as hyped as they should be. But I feel like now, as they should be. But I feel like now that like it's getting more hypeable, like there's more things to do, the more places to go. If you specifically like Anisong concerts and DJs and everything like that, that there can be more hype in Los Angeles. And I feel like if you like it the most, if you like Anisong DJing international music the most, Los Angeles is the place to be. But it's sad that because of that there's less hype because there's more congestion for anime raves and everything like that.
Yeah, that's one of the like big problems.
Yeah.
And like even like during like Anime Expo, there'll be like a bunch of like sideshows like that different groups put on, and it's like it's hard because they have to each compete for people to come to them, and like people want to go to like more than one, but they all conflict.
Yeah.
Like I always like every year it's like, oh shit, there's like 4 shows going on, but I have to choose one. Yeah.
I think we should make sure to like celebrate the organizations that are doing things outside of Con Week.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, that's the hard one, right? The easy play and the one that everybody from the outside is getting into is, oh wait, we just like rent out a venue and then we just put waifu on the flyer and then we just that's it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that's like it's almost like the reverse of the problem that we used to have.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago. And I'm saying we, like I was around, like I have not been around that long. I was wasting my time playing guitar 10 years ago. Anyways, so like the old issue, right? Too many non-Anisong DJ or like DJs and people in the space for Anisong music.
Yeah.
And now it's like there's too many people who are claiming Anisong that are just kind of like diluting what it is,
I've
and it's
heard
like
that a lot.
and I think it's great that there can be so many of these, let's say you're a producer and you do Jersey Club, then you can do Jersey Club but with anime samples, or you can push these kind of things. But then I think it's like the cliche that people make fun of, like the lo-fi hip hop, right? It's just like take the anime GIF, like put on like the boom boom bap thing, and like put a bunch of what is it, the effect that puts all like the vinyl sounds on it, and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, then that's it, and then just grab the sample and put a bunch of reverb. It's almost like just as simple as like when people oversimplify like vaporwave or some other genre like that, where it's like, oh, all you do is this, and then you have music. So I think it's evolving, but it's like, okay, but there are groups out there like, Anime Impulse. They're doing the brave sort of moves. They're like, wait a minute, Halloween, people love, to have a good time with this. And we can bring back, and we can have excuse, right?
Yeah.
Outside of July to get together, right? So I
Yeah.
think those are the sort of things that's like, and then like I mentioned, my friend, Sintho with the Anisong Heart series, he's on his 5th one already. That's great. I'm doing another one that's not really Anisong themed, but I'm sure there's going to be some of that overlap. It's going to be called All Killer No Thriller, because everyone's banned from playing Michael Jackson Thriller, but it's going to be horror themed stream. So we're trying to do like a boiler room sort of format. So that's actually this Saturday.
Wait, is it just a stream?
So it'll be people in a room, and then 1 or 2 DJs actually sending us mixes that we kind of like the URL format, right? Like the Minecraft like festival sort of thing. So everyone was pre-recording mixes, and then they would just like hit play and play them back, and then people would experience that together, maybe visuals or whatever.
So it's not like live sets.
So then we will be doing live sets, and then only one person will be doing this, or 1 or 2 people will be doing the submitted stream. So it's like playing on that format. But anyway, it's that sort of thing where we can then take like the aesthetic and a lot of these kind of like inspiration from anime conventions, Anisong and things like that, and kind of take it into that space. But I think it's like, I mean, going back into history, like I used to play in a ska band years ago, and that made me learn that, okay, that reggae exists and that's its own thing, and dub exists and that's its own thing, and all these kind of genres and things that came before and after it, and ska punk and whatever, they all exist, and they all exist in parallel, just in the same way that Anisong can exist, just in the same way that Jersey Club can exist and all these other things. But I think it makes sense when you do have cons to give the 15-year-olds, right? That easy way to experience like the full crazy sort of Anisong, like experience. It's something that like, people here might be like, oh, I'd love to go to like Mogra in Tokyo to experience that like Japanese sort of like celebration of that. And this is like our variant of it in our like wacky convention spaces with ball pits and, cancellations and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, ball pits.
Bringing up cancellations is an important thing to bring up too, because I kind of wanted to mention, and I'm planning to do a show around it, is there's right now, or in a certain time in American history, where it's hard for international people to fly in internationally and perform a service and not have to get and hit like a brick wall, if that makes sense. So I think right now it's really important to support events that do have international guests, like international DJs and everything, because it is actually really hard to go through the visa process to bring people over, because there's like the whole like barriers being put up for people to perform services and jobs in America if they're not from America. And I think it's really important to support like events that do try their best to bring international music acts, whatever they are, DJing, singing, everything like that, Anisong performers, to the US to perform, because they definitely worked really hard to get them there. So I think it's like important to bring up. And in that vein, do you guys have anything that you'd like to, like, do you have any like favorite performers that like you liked before you became a DJ, like international Anisong, or even other Anisong DJs here, like other Anisong DJs period that you guys really liked, or performers who created Anisongs in Japan and everything? Did you guys have any influences? Do you have any favorite artists now that you'd like to mention? Because it's kind of, I always wonder, like, who did this person grow up listening to whenever they're performing at a thing, if that makes sense. Like, because I know, like, you mentioned, like, the people who kind of, like, rode in on the like anime train without actually liking anime because they really liked Porter Robinson's Shelter. You didn't say that, but I'm just like throwing that in because that's been a thing. Did you guys have any like favorite artists that influenced you just to like anime music when you were younger? Holographic or non?
So it's not exactly Anisong, but I'm really inspired by artists who do like Toho remixes.
Toho remixes.
So that's another big thing I really like, is I like to play Toho remixes a lot. Even it's not like Toho's not an anime.
First.
That's a big meme. It's not an anime, but yeah, it's a game. But I mean, people have made fan anime based on it. But I've been really inspired by like DJ Red Alice and this group I really like called East New Sound. So I guess like back when I started getting into like Anisong and like Dojin music and like anime and Toho and everything, I'd listen to like Red Alice and East New Sound and Austramaria and Shiva Yan. And all that. And those were big inspirations. And then a big like Anisong and like related DJs. Like I've liked Taka Takashi for a long time. I know you were talking about him earlier. But one of the like first, well, yeah, probably one of the first like real shows I've been to at like a convention, Taku Takahashi was playing. It was this like little con in New York called Waku Waku, New York.
Oh.
And it was gonna be like a series, but it was just, they had it 1 year and then I guess they couldn't keep the ball rolling because it wasn't popular enough or something. But they had like, they rented out like a club like away from the convention center, and the convention center was just like this small building too. It was like this interesting con where it was like all kind of spread out around Brooklyn, I think it was. There was like a art exhibit like by the shore that Sebastian Masuda did. Oh yeah, and he also DJ'd too at that show. And I was like, oh shit, he's like a fashion designer and an artist and a DJ. So he's also really inspiring because I'm into all that too.
He's been here a lot.
Yeah, but So that was back in like 2015, and that was before I became a DJ. So that was really a really inspiring like experience for me too.
What about you?
I was thinking about it while Joe was doing a really good job answering that, and I think for me, like it never occurred to me that like, or it took a while for me to realize that, oh, like Anisong is like a format and something you can DJ, right? And then I'm almost thinking back to like like groups like Anamanaguchi, where they kind of like they did that bridge of, oh wait, this is like video game music but being presented in like a band context, right? You go to venues to see this band, you buy their t-shirt, you buy their records, you do all these band things, but it's like video game music. And I think it was really kind of thinking about that and be like, wait a minute, this is like video game music being presented in a band format, something I was familiar with. And then I realized, oh wait, there's like 8-bit and chiptune and all these sort of things out there. And I think like with conventions, it's almost like this, like, I know there's like, we all talk about anime conventions, and I'm sure we've had it where like people on the outside would be like, oh yeah, you're going to like Comic-Con this weekend? Or like, no, it's not Comic-Con. But like that sort of celebration of like convention and nerd sort of things. Yeah. And I think just like Toho is not an anime, there's these sort of things where it's like, okay, that's like, bullet hell sort of game that has its own music and that has its own remix culture and that has all these things. And so it's like, oh, if you're into that and 8-bit and Vocaloid or whatever, you can kind of weave these things together and it's okay. No one's going to be like, oh, like turn that shit off, right? Yeah. Like no robot singers in this bar, I would love for someone to say that to me. Then I'd like get my phone out, like, can you say that again? I'd love to be internet famous. Yeah, I would like my like the hill to die on is like Hatsune Miku gets to be played at this dive bar. But it's those are the sort of questions when I think back to like influential, informative, and like, oh, what got me going is thinking, wait a minute, this stuff that I consume through video games, consume through whatever it is, can also be presented like music. And I think then, fortunate because so much of it is electronic in nature, that DJing is like a very logical step, right? And then there's almost this play on like, oh, it's like DJing with all this equipment and then a Game Boy next to that, or DJing all this equipment and then a live singer. It's this sort of like riff on that, which I think is, I don't know, really, really interesting. But that's what I think when I think like, oh, what inspired me to like connect all these dots in the way that I do. And then of course I love like, again, like, some overlap with anime, but like as a producer, like Yasutaka Nakata and all this stuff with like Kyary Pamyu Pamyu, like super, super, super inspiring. There's like younger artists, that are doing all that stuff, like the entire like Trekkie Tracks label. Again, this is like anime inspired into this like doujin sort of music, which is like underground Japanese music. That's like the best way to describe it. But then a lot of the influences in sound, they'll in the same way that like American producers might grab samples from cartoons and things like that. It's very natural for Japanese producers to grab things from their cartoons, which might be anime, which might then overlap with lo-fi hip hop and all that sort of rabbit hole stuff. But it's interesting how all these people kind of draw from these things. And then when there's kind of that overlap in these styles and these producers doing it in that same way, then you kind of want to piece together that. Or even something that's is kind of open-ended as like Vocaloid music could be anything just because it's done by a robot singer, just in the same way that like Toho music could be anything. It's just has to draw a melody from like a Toho release, right? Like more or less. So I don't know. I think it's good that there's space for that, but it's good for like a big wide open gate. Like I know we make fun of Porter Robinson, but like that got a lot of people being okay with that, or being like, oh, I like music with emojis in it, right? Or whatever that meant to them. Yeah. To explore that and dig deeper. I think there is a problem where a lot of those type of fans don't scratch the surface, right? And they just stay there and they're totally okay just hanging out on that tip of the iceberg. And there's so much more, and I think that's what we dig into. Yeah. And I think things can be done to fix that, but it's not a problem that like Porter didn't make people weebs. Yeah. People were already weebs,
I'm not calling him a fake nerd boy or anything like that.
And he's legitimate in his interest, but there are a lot of people that kind of galvanize around that, like I said, my problem is not with them. It's that I just wish they would go deeper, right? Yeah. In the same way that people could say that about video games or Toho or anything, like, yeah, just go a little bit deeper, please. But yeah.
But do you guys have any future plans, like anything upcoming that we can watch you? Anything you can talk about?
Sorry, stretching. I'm actually planning to DJ a thing. It's actually in NorCal, so I don't know if anyone watching this is
NorCal.
Anyway,
we actually do have some people in right now from NorCal.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be in San Jose, called Annie Clover, and it's another like new Annie song event that popped up. This is gonna be, I think their first one, they labeled it episode 0. They were testing the waters, but this is gonna be like the first real one. So yeah, I'm gonna DJ that. I think it's November 8th, if I got that right.
November 8th. San Jose.
Yeah, San Jose. And then I'll probably be DJing SACANIME again also.
SACANIME,
which is in
winter?
January.
It's usually January 6th, right? Like that
I
weekend?
think it's the first weekend of January, so it overlaps with like MagFest, but that's East Coast. So, and it's in Sacramento, SACANIME.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's me. I don't think there's anything else till then, really.
It's a slow season for Anisong.
The summer, I think, was the big
boom.
Big boom. And then you said you were doing Anisong Horror.
So yeah, if I go through this
thingy.
month, let's see, October 12th is All Killer No Thriller, the stream Boiler Room vibe.
Wait, that's kind of soon-ish.
Yeah, that's this Saturday.
Oh, that's this weekend.
Yeah, I need to work on a bunch of
This
visuals,
weekend.
but it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's this weekend. So anybody can participate in that because that'll be streaming. And then the following weekend on the 20th is Anisong Heart 5. So I'll be doing visuals for that. So that'll be fun. That's with Syntho and a really, really cool lineup. And then October 26th is Saturday, which is INSANIME Halloween, they're calling it, right? Like
INSANIME
put on by
Halloween.
Anime Impulse. A lot
Anime
of words in there.
Impulse.
So that'll be really good. Doing a DJ set at that. Also a really cool lineup.
When is that? Halloween
the
weekend?
26th, which is the
Okay,
weekend
yeah.
before.
And I'm a guest.
And we
I'm
got
the
a guest
last
over
one
here.
on the page
Oh,
when you look at guests.
I wonder if any MCs are gonna get called up on stage. And then after that, on November 1st, there's going to be a Italo Disco, Para Para, and what else? And like kind of like a happy hardcore vibe night. And I'm doing visuals for that, so that should be really interesting.
Where is that?
That's going to be at Los Globos in Silver Lake on November 1st, the day after Halloween, which I think is a Friday. So yeah,
Yes.
lots of stuff for the Halloweeny season, doing visuals, which is VJ, like DJing video, and then DJing and streaming and crazy technology stuff. So should be a good month. Yeah.
Cool. And so do you guys do you have any advice for people who want to start doing Anisong DJing?
I would say like get comfortable with streaming because
yeah,
for
yeah.
me like that's always been this like it seems strange to like I understood like I mentioned with guitar, like it seems like an instrument, like you can sit down and put on a metronome and do this thing and practice it, but it's like kind of abstract or hard. Do you ever transition just DJ transitions, or it's like it's hard for you to like, it kind of has to be in that moment, right? That's like the whole important thing of like a transition is like in that moment transitioning that smoothly rather than like forcing those moments. And anyways, so streaming for me felt like practicing DJing because you get a little bit of that like adrenaline rush. Like right now there's people could be commenting and laughing at my funny jokes or thinking what I'm saying is grossly inappropriate or whatever, but like there's that rush and that risk of like live, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to like not only like playback music and love music and everything, but to get a little bit of that and that like reception of, oh wait, someone else might think this is good or bad or love it or hate it or whatever. I think that's cool. So DJ stuff, YouTube's probably a better teacher than any comment that I could give. Figure that out, and then once you kind of get it so that you're like, okay, what do? I want to get better at this. Figure out a way to string with it. I think that's a really good way to kind of get that next level.
Yeah, that's a good way to like get used to an audience before you actually have one. I guess advice I would add on is just to really dig through, like to find source material to use, like music to use, I mean. Just like really dig through SoundCloud. It's a bunch of Anisong like remix gold on there. But be sure it has like a download link, of course. Don't grab it off,
Don't steal it.
Don't go to, what is it, SoundCloud to MP3, whatever. But yeah, just like find a bunch of good music, play around with what sounds good together, like transitions well into each other. Just kind of like figure out what genre you like. Like there's like electro, there's like house, and there's like bassline house. There's like lo-fi hip hop. I don't know. Lo-fi hip hop anime remixes maybe exist.
maybe,
I don't know.
maybe. It's like, not like I've ever looked for them.
But yeah, just
Late at
like
night,
try to figure out
alone.
what like stuff you want to build up on, and just find like a bunch of good music and just play around with the whole set list.
When I was practicing, when I got the DJ board from my Airbnb friends, I went over to my friend's house, and my friend Melissa, I was making something, like it was just playing around and everything like that. My friend Melissa says, "Shelby, it sounds like you're making the music that people who don't have hotel rooms wait for 3 a.m. on the dance floor of the rave to listen to."
Wow.
I was like, that's such a specific burn. But like you can definitely visualize exactly what I did.
Yeah.
But so do you have, so you mentioned like past artists like Taku Takahashi and Bandbox and everything. A lot of people don't really like, they like their music, but they haven't really got into the whole culture and everything like that, like the whole subculture of like DJing and like international music and everything. What are some artists that you guys would recommend people start listening to
really get into like the feel of the scene now?
Yeah, because you mentioned like Carry Pamu Pamu and Perfume and everything, and those are all by Yasutaka.
So he's the producer behind those.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do people do like pop music listeners know who like Max Martin is? He's like a shadow puppet like songwriter behind everybody that you don't know, but he is. So like Yasutaka Nakata is kind of like that role for a lot of the Osobi system things.
Yeah.
But I mean that's like a normal business partnership.
Yeah.
So that's really, you know, that I really like that. There is, let's see, so like a gateway for kind of just being more open minded to things.
Yeah.
I think actually if you kind of like, if you look at a lot of things, a lot of like SoundCloud remixes of, you know, Anisong things, there it's like a way to kind of find new producers, because one of my favorite producers from South Korea, he's in Japan a lot too, his name's Zek. He has an account that's just like, again, it's to kind of like,
it's side account.
It's a side account, right? To make sure that it doesn't get squashed for like copyright reasons, but it's just anime remixes, right? Of all these, you know, just things that he's like, oh, I like that show, I'm going to take that melody and kind of flip it and do all these things. So just, you know, like it's really fun when your fandom and your like interest in music and things like that overlap. Like I'm sure if you really wanted to find like ska remixes of anime, you know, OSTs, I'm sure they're out there, right? Someone can like I don't know, find me in an elevator. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna play this like 10-hour remix of like ska, like any song that I found for you because you mentioned that one time in a stream. But yeah, it's I think just and there's a lot more international collaborations. Like there was that one with Charlie XCX and Caddy Pamu Pamu.
Crazy.
Yeah. So like things like that it's like, oh wait, who is this from over there and what do they do? I think those are interesting. And then, you know, just if you have a favorite, you know, anime, then find like 10 different versions of like the opener, right? And use that to kind of go down this rabbit hole. Cause there's always ways to do it, you know, mention SoundCloud playlists and things like that, but like just be open to, oh wait, who else is on this track? Oh wait, who sings this track? Oh wait, what other tracks did this producer put out? Just be hungry for that information. And I think that can lead you to some really interesting things and to really kind of get you outside of that normal routine of, you know, just whatever music you get kind of stuck in. Yeah.
Yeah, SoundCloud's a good way to find things. Also, YouTube is good too, actually, with the recommended stuff.
That's how I got into it. Because there was always like the same opening I was listening to on repeat forever, but then there was that opening, but like bass boosted remix.
Oh boy, it's a start.
I was like, yeah.
Another good like big Anisong DJ though is DJ Wild Party. He does a lot of he makes a lot of mixes and does a lot of like remixes and everything. So that's one of them. Because I know Tyler mentioned Zek, and then I would mention Wild Party. I'm trying to think of more. There was that one guy who did the Baku Mogra party like a couple AXs ago, I think. Inoue something Inoue. I'm blanking on his first name right now, but he's another good one. Sorry, I failed.
Oh no, it's fine. You gave good answers and
There's
everything.
an E at the end of his.
Do you guys have any like closing remarks or anything else you'd want to say like about yourselves or about your brands before we go off? Before we go off.
Go off.
Uh,
Go off, Shelby.
I might
I'll just do this while you
DJ.
talk.
I might DJ and VJ in Japan, but I can't say anything else
Oh,
about it
shit.
Japan.
in the future.
When?
That's
The ultimate goal.
I want to be really vague until the
That's the
details come
dream.
through.
Every
that
weeb's
was,
dream
At
is
Mulgra?
Japan.
No
I'm going to be very
details?
vague with the details.
Okay, fine.
I'm gonna keep going off.
Man, yeah, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the dream for
is
everybody.
Japan.
DJ in Japan.
DJ in Japan. So, all right, I wish many DJ opportunities in Japan for both of you. Where can we follow you guys on social media? Where can we listen to your stuff?
So on Instagram, I'm All Hell Breaks Loops, and on Twitter, they wouldn't allow that character count, so I had to switch that to AHBL Music, but you can just search for All Hell Breaks Loops. I'm also on Facebook and SoundCloud and Spotify and all that good stuff. So take a look at that. And again, I'm doing DJing, which is, what Jet does too. And then also VJing, which is kind of playing videos back. So that's where you can check me out. And Jet, you can find on
Twitter, Instagram, it's Rainy X Star, like rainy weather, X and then star, the word. Some people can't tell what I'm saying when I say that sometimes, so it seems so easy. It's just Rainy X Star. Anyway,
I'm so envious of all the DJs with 1 or 2 syllable names now. You have no idea. Trying to yell "All Hell Breaks Loops" to somebody at the club is the worst.
oh, what's your DJ name? It's All Hell Breaks Loops.
Yeah. But then you know what?
Wait,
If
what?
my DJ was DJ cough sniff, then that would also be
Cough
hard to
sniff?
tell somebody.
Yeah.
Coughs.
And then on SoundCloud and Mixcloud, which nobody really uses. So
That's
SoundCloud,
sad, because you can put so much detail in terms of the track
Yeah.
listing. My car Bluetooth will pull up track by track what the tracks are on a Mixcloud playlist, but nobody uses the platform. It's so sad. It's
it's a good platform,
Yeah.
but no, only other DJs use it.
that's
People
true. That
trying
is so
to
true. It
find
is only
things
other
don't
DJs. Yeah.
use it. But on SoundCloud, it's also Rainy Star, but the URL is Jet Sylvia Rainy. It's soundcloud.com/Jet Sylvia Rainy, and that's also I think my Facebook URL. But yeah, either Rainy XR or Jet Sylvia Rainy. Will probably find me.
And if you're watching right now, you're probably on Bombshell Media on Facebook, but you can also follow YouTube, Shelby McWeeb, where we also broadcast. And I am also Shelby McWeeb on Twitter and Instagram, where I have more followers. So subscribe everywhere, please. Thank you. And that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Listen to some sound. Listen to Mixcloud. Is that? I
that's the
literally
cool
just
one.
forgot it.
Mixcloud's
Mixcloud's the mix
People need
service
to
for
use more.
MCs like you.
MCs like
MC
me,
Weebs.
2020 me's. I'm gonna be an MC. All right, hit up the Mixcloud, and thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Good luck in
Thanks for having us.
good luck all over California and Japan. I'm gonna go off until I have confirmation that we're
Okay.
Should we play a little Annie song?
Yeah, that's funny. We talked a lot about Annie song, but we didn't play
we
any
forgot to
song.
play Annie's song. I forgot.
We talked about.
Well, now they have to go to our SoundClouds. So.
There you go. You have confirmation.